Up next, we are discussing Harry Kane. What does Harry do next? Well, Karim Benzema, reported this evening by ESPN, will be leaving Real Madrid when his contract expires this month to join the Saudi Arabian side Al Ittihad. Bigger picture here is that Benzema will earn a reported 400 million euros over a 2-year contract. They were crowned the Saudi Pro League champions this season. The deal will also see him become an ambassador for the country's 2030 World Cup bid. He, of course, has won 5 Champions League, 4 La Liga crowns and loads of trophies while scoring 353 goals at Real Madrid. So a big piece of news for Real Madrid fans, but is it an even bigger piece of news for Harry Kane? Because earlier this week we reported, and it has been reported, that there was a good chance that Harry Kane could stay at Spurs this summer. Certainly, if no one was willing to pay the big transfer fee, 90 or so million, that Spurs wanted. But I think Real Madrid may be a club that is interested in his services. So what does he do next? Does he now try and force his way out to go to a Real Madrid rather than the big link, Manchester United?
I think if you or I or Martin, I think we feel, of course he'd go to Real Madrid. Who wouldn't want to play for Real Madrid? I sort of think it's every footballer's dream. But Harry Kane appears to be a slightly different animal. He does love, clearly, the idea of records. See when he won the Golden Boot. See when he wins the Golden Boot, the World Cup. Look when he broke the England goal-scoring record. They mean an immense amount to him. He's been banging on about the goal-scoring record in this country for an awful long time.
He has to, doesn't he?
Well, you say he has to, but I think he's one of those strikers who's not, well, it doesn't matter if I don't score as long as the team gets 3 points. Harry Kane's not really one of those strikers. No. He is in the Shearer category of, I want to score. I'd prefer it if we win, but I want to score goals. Mm-hmm. And everybody assumes, well, you must want to go and play for Real Madrid. You must want to go and win trophies. But there are players who may just be satisfied with what they got, being paid a lot of money, being a hero at Spurs every week and breaking all the records. That said, I think most people would think playing for Real Madrid is the ultimate. I think it is.
I mean, there were reports this week saying that Harry doesn't want to go abroad and Harry isn't interested in going abroad.
Man United or nothing.
But Man U or nothing.
But at that point, Benzema, there was talk that Benzema was staying another year. So that was probably a picture, and that Benzema would leave in a year's time. And if there was one club maybe that you'd think has a chance of getting them, it might be Real Madrid.
You'd think.
He wouldn't go play in Munich, for instance, I don't think, even though they're in the Champions League every year. You would doubt he would go there, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, look, I can see Harry Kane at Real Madrid in as much as I can see him doing well at Real Madrid.
Yeah,
I can see him being a great success there. Whether if it came to it, he would rather go to Manchester United rather than Real Madrid, despite the fact that that their success isn't perhaps as guaranteed, and they they're not always in the Champions League, certainly in recent seasons, because he does seem to like football here, basically, and whether that's the records or whether that's just the environment or whether it's family reasons, he feels comfortable and his family feel comfortable. I don't know. The one thing we're not factoring into this is the fact that it's up to Daniel Levy to sell, and we all imagine that there is a price, because we always think there is a price with Tottenham. And yet, the one thing that Levy has done right in all these years is that he's kept Harry Kane. Because if you take Harry Kane out of Tottenham, they're a mid-table team, in some seasons.
But he has always had the contract on his side until now, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Now it's 1 year left. Now it really is, 90 million or nothing.
But if you start doing, I've got a column a little while ago that if you start doing that thing where you add up what you lose if you fall out of the league, and I'm not saying Tottenham are about to fall out of the league necessarily, I don't think that's true at all, but say like West Ham and Declan Rice, say, if you add what it costs you to get relegated against, letting a guy just run his contract down and getting another 2 years and staying in the league, and what you get for being in the league across those 2 years.
Basically, you let go of him, you say goodbye to Champions League football, And who knows what else?
Who knows what else? You know, for West Ham, who knows what else? Quite literally, who knows what else? Tottenham, you don't see getting relegated any time soon. But West Ham, take Declan Rice out this season, who thinks they would have stayed up? So, you know, there is a point where you're putting one set of numbers on the ledger on that side and another set of numbers on the ledger on that side and thinking, these aren't actually too different.
But is it time to force his way out of the club now?
Well, he thought about or tried it on a bit last year, but he never actually publicly said, I want to leave, or he never publicly said, I want to transfer. Now, is he in that same situation again, where he actually can't do it? There is a suggestion that Levy would sell to a club abroad, but not a club in the Premier League. Maybe they can negotiate on that. But as I say, I do think his preference is to stay in this country, unless, I suppose, Real Madrid truly push the boat out, say, you're our man. But as we were talking off air, Hugh, you suggested, well, yeah, go for a year, and then they get Mbappe, and then maybe Haaland will turn up. Well, does Harry really want to be a bit part where he turns up for a year with the knowledge in the back of his head that he's going to be dumped in a year's time? Because I don't think he'll be a failure. I really believe he would be a success like Martin at Real Madrid. He scores goals, he does it at international level, no problem. He would be.
I was trying to enter the thought process of Real Madrid, right? And I was thinking, long-time admirers of Kylian Mbappe, he's going to be on a free contract in a year's time, very, very likely to join Real Madrid, whether Harry Kane's there or not. But then I'm thinking their next big attacking signing is going to be Erling Haaland, we imagine, in 2 or 3 seasons. And I was saying, if you pay the money now for Harry Kane, rather than waiting to try and get him on a free in a year's time, can you essentially recoup that by a few years down the road using Harry Kane as a make-weight in a deal possibly for Erling Haaland? I was trying to decide, would they actually spend the money on him now?
I think you skipped the Mbappe bit now, because Mbappe virtually runs PSG. He's got stakes in it. He decides who the coach is through his friend, the sporting director. So I'm not sure he'd get the same power, the same power at Real Madrid. So maybe Harry might get 3 years before they go for Erling Haaland. We always say, I mean,
but there is there is an argument there for Real Madrid spending the money now rather than waiting for a year.
Yeah, I do see that. I do see that. But as I say, I think Kane would be a success, and I think most of us would think, if you're at Tottenham, God, you've got to go to Real Madrid. But he's not an ordinary footballer in that way.
I think the record things, I just can't get on board with the breaking records thing.
But you see how much he celebrates it. I mean, he was absolutely delirious to break Jimmy Greaves' record, the England goal-scoring record, winning Golden Boots, because he sees them as trophies, actually.
Yeah,
Boots,
as
you don't, but he does.
But no one can ever take your trophies, your medals away from you, whereas records will be broken.
The Golden Boot is a fantastic thing to have.
Yeah.
It is. If you win a Golden Boot at a World Cup, as he did.
Oh, I see. At the World Cup,
you get a Golden Boot.
You get a Golden Boot. It's no mean.
Actually, get a Golden
Boot. No one can ever take your Golden Boot away from you.
But it's no mean achievement to say you were the. You were the leading goal scorer in the greatest tournament in the world.
Yeah.
And we say, now is that worse than winning the Carabao Cup? No, it's not, is it? You'd rather have. I think you'd rather have a Golden Boot.
I can see what you mean. I've always thought as well. Or I've thought recently, more than always, that one of the things that you mentioned Mbappe and how he's regarded at Paris Saint-Germain, and I wonder whether that is a line of attack that Tottenham could try with Harry Kane, whereby not that you let him run the club, but where you go to him and say, you can be anything you want to be at this club. You know, we will. You have been this club for however long. We will allow you to do however you see your long-term future at this club. We will facilitate it for you. If you want to be our director of football in 5 years' time, we will send you to every business school in the world to learn it, to do this, to do that. You know, I always draw the comparison with David Platt and Roberto Mancini and the story about Roberto Mancini designing Sampdoria's shirt. That's how well thought of he was there. But there is something about being that guy at a club. If they said to him, look, who do you think should be the manager?
on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.